G'day, my name's Ward and I'm here to talk to you for the next few minutes about the state and its origins. In these next few minutes we're going to talk about where this came from, who was involved in it, and how it got to be something that I'm talking about today to you. Along the way we're going to refer to Wing Chun, which is a martial art. We're going to refer to the Researchers of Truth, which is a mystical Christian organisation. We're also going to refer to different kinds of energy, which you may have heard of, something like Qi, for example. We're going to talk about all that and how that all links up into this condition known as the state. So, why? Well, the state is a power that allows people to deliver significantly strong physical power. So think punching, pushing, kicking, throwing, moving. Deliver significant power without using muscular brute force. Sound interesting? Cool, let's go. So, where did it all start? So, you may have heard of a chap by the name of Ip Man. Ip Man. Ip Man is probably the most famous Grand Master of Wing Chun. Wing Chun being a Chinese martial art or Kung Fu. If you don't know who Ip Man is, that's okay, because there's movies about him. You can go online. If you're in Australia, you can stream for free from SBS On Demand. I'm not sure if that's geo-fence for those outside Australia watching this content, but it's online. There's Ip Man movies. Ip Man 1, which is the best, I think. 2, 3, and no wait, 4. That's how significant this guy was in terms of history and the impact he made. The movies are great because they tell the story about this guy who had to flee China as the Japanese invaded and took over the area he was living in. Also later on when the communists came along and changed the way of life for many Chinese citizens, and many left mainland China to the island of Hong Kong. So that's a lot more detail we can go into at another stage, but Ip Man really was the man. Ip Man, and you can see this in the movies as well, which are a pretty accurate depiction. Ip Man, as an old, aging man, diagnosed with cancer, was literally kicking the shit out of fit, strong American Marines, right? In fact, the head of the Marines, a hand-to-hand combat training division, right? So he's their head trainer, right? One-on-one with Ip Man just cleaned the floor with him, right? How did he do this? Because, I mean, weak old man is not strong and fit, right? Nimlik, okay? Let's talk more about that. And if you want to know, this is available to you and to me and to anyone that wants to put the effort to understand this condition and to develop it. So Nimlik, this very, very strong power. Nimlik, which is kind of rough translation from Cantonese, means mind force. So one day, probably in the 1950s, one of Ip Man's senior students, a guy called Chu Shong Tin, was having a private conversation with Ip Man after he saw Ip Man delivering such power effortlessly, and said, Ip Man, how did you do that, mate, right? And Ip Man just simply said, I used Nimlik. And so Chu Shong Tin said, well, that sounds awesome. I want to do that. How do I do that? And so he was provided with some very clear, simple directions. Everything face forward, spine straight, use no force, and make sure all released and relaxed, right? So Chu Shong Tin took this, he believed Ip Man because he saw it, and he went and practiced day and night, no jokes, day and night, hours and hours and hours at a time, until one day it came. He felt it, and he said he felt this power running through him, constant power running through him day and night. Right? the way he did this at the time was through doing the first form of the martial art Wing Chun, known as Su Nim Tao, or little idea, or small thought, depending on your Cantonese translation. Small thought, I mean, the clue is right there. It's all about thinking, the mind, okay? It's not about big muscle, it's small thought, right? And so Chu Shang Tin, he practiced Su Nim Tao over and over again so long, and he mastered it and developed this power to the point where Ip Man acknowledged that Chu Shang Tin, the student, had developed his skill to be beyond that of Ip Man, to be stronger, and actually gave him the title, serious title, of the king of Su Nim Tao. So pretty amazing stuff, right? So Chu Shang Tin then made it his life's mission to be able to teach others how to do this as well. I mean, this was not just a one-off. This is something that everyone can access, right? So he then set about teaching this Nimlik, or what he later morphed it into the term Nim Tao, from the Su Nim Tao form, the Nim Tao power, to describe this power, this energy that was flowing through, that would be able to deliver such strong results without using brute force. During this time that Chu Shang Tin was in Hong Kong teaching away, one of his students, a young man by the name of John Kogan, went all the way from Australia to Hong Kong to learn from Chu Shang Tin, because he wanted that power too, right? And so did a bunch of his mates as well, I guess. And so he also trained day and night, listened very attentively to everything that Chu Shang Tin had to say, and saw and experienced and observed and started to understand that there are many levels to developing this power. It is not just a technique. Definitely. And by the name of it, being small idea or small thought, there's something going on there with the mind as well, right? So he was diving into this from all levels. During this, John Kogan, who is actually now Sifu John Kogan, that you may have heard of, pretty much everyone has. He's kind of a bit famous. Sifu John Kogan was trying very hard to understand what are all the inputs, what to help develop this power, this Nimlik, this Nim Tao, and he was approaching it from all different angles, because just like his master Chu Shang Tin, he also wanted not only to learn it, but learn it so he could teach it to others, right? It's awesome, right? And so on this journey, he was observing that there was something else that was going on here, not just the martial aspects, whether that be a spiritual, energetic element as well. And so in this search, he found this mystical Christian organization in Cyprus called the Researchers of Truth, who have a framework to help describe the entire fabric of reality, including all of the different types of energy and energy exchange between people, the energy field around us, right, and the universe. And with that extra information, was able to overlay that to the teachings and explanations that Chu Shang Tin had previously provided for years. I mean, this is like a 10-year journey, right? And to be able to help understand and clearly find a way to not only for himself to develop this power, but to be able to then communicate this. Now, this kind of broke down the idea that Nimlik or Nim Tao was the energy, but there's something else to be able to let that energy flow, right? And that was a condition known as the state, and the state is something that Chu Shang Tin even referred to himself in the 70s, right? So the Nimlik power is that effortless power being flowing from the body, and the state is the condition in which enables that power to flow. So let's understand it a bit more, because it's quite an important part of it. So if you think of the effortless power, use no force, but still really strong, to be able to throw people around without using any muscles, how does that work? Well, firstly, let's break it down into the 5 different core components or energy components of the state, right? The first one, let's call it sensing energy. Sensing energy is the ability to be able to sense the air around you, the air touching the skin, touch the skin, but also deeper, the space in between the cells, the space in between the atoms, knowing that matter is made up of cells and cells made up of atoms, and atoms are proton and neutron, and they're orbiting each other. Well, orbiting, so there's space in between, and we're made up of bazillions of atoms, right? So how much space actually are we? Therefore, sensing into that space is one of the first key aspects of the state to enable that condition. The next one is centering. So sensing, centering. Centering is to find that energetic center running through the body, from above the crown, down, following the spine, through roughly the tailbone, through the center, right down to the ground between one's feet. This energetic pole, if you will, or string on which one is held up on, is where all power, like momentum, think of center of mass, is delivered from and originates from. So if moving from the center, one is moving with their whole body, and therefore the whole body mass is applied to that particular movement, right? So even without the state of energy, simply moving from the center and engaging the center, knowing one's center, brings an increased level of power. Add to that the energetic aspect of the state, being able to sense the center and move and maintain that center, amplifies that as well. So this sensing, centering, another one which is probably my favorite, which is sinking. Sinking? It's not the ship. Sinking as in energy is moving. Energy moves. If you think of energy with gravity, it's just sinking down. Just stop for a moment, take a breath, and sense energy just falling down, raining over you. Sinking, releasing, loosening up everything in the body and the space. It's wonderful, isn't it, right? And there it is. Sinking energy. And why is that important? That is important because maintaining a loose, soft, relaxed state, if you will, is really important for allowing that energy to flow. As soon as one tenses up, tightens up, uses muscular force, it's like kinking a hose, and the energy cannot flow as effectively, right? So maintaining that softness, that relaxed, loose, Cantonese, bad accent, but the state condition, right? So sensing, centering, and sinking, okay? And not just sink, but sinking constantly. The next one, so sensing, centering, sinking, right? We want to look at seeing, right? What is seeing energy? Well, if you close your eyes and you picture for a moment you're holding a bird in your hand. Let's call it a white dove. And that white dove opens its wings. It flies up around in the air. It lands back in your hand. Open your eyes again. That's seeing energy right there. And so that energy, which is often called visualization, is another form of energy which is used in the state to help build this condition, right? Seeing energy allows one to use that sight, that vision, the visualization, to see energy flowing from the energy field around us through to the target in front of us as well. It allows us to connect to the opponent or the energetic center of our training partners. It allows us to guide and focus our own energy that is flowing through us as well. The seeing energy is very, very a major part in the Researchers of Truth framework. They use seeing energy for healing, for all sorts of aspects. The power of clear, accurate visualization is amazing. Simply put, the mind can't tell the difference between something that you're seeing with your eyes and something that you're seeing through visualization. So they're both just as real, right? Therefore, if you focus your energy and your power forward from your mind's perspective, it's absolutely real. This is part of the condition of the state, right? So, sensing, centering, syncing, seeing, and then the best one, right, is sending. Send it! That is once in this relaxed condition, in the center, expanding, flowing, seeing the energy flowing through you to allow that to focus forward in a plane of power, if you will, to your opponent or your training partners, their center. So almost that you're reaching through with your energetic arms to grab hold of your opponent. And then your hands do what hands need to do with whatever that might be, right? So those are the 5 elements of the state, originating way back in the 50s when the Grandmaster Ip Man explained to Chu Shongtin, this is Nimlik, mind force. Chu Shongtin practiced day and night until he developed Nimlik, or what he later called Nim Tao power, and then realized that there's a condition to effectively deliver this power, which is the state. This was taught to his student, Sifu John Kogan, who has then been able to build on that and to break it down into very consumable, understandable language and terms, maybe even a taxonomy, that can be understood readily by average Joes that don't know any of this sort of energy stuff, and just, oh, okay, that's how it works. I understand it. I can seeing energy, for example. Close your eyes, there's an example, done. I get it, okay. There's no mystery to, oh, it's chi energy and it's this. No, it's just seeing energy. Yeah, go for it, right? So to be able to break those straight down into those 5 components and bring them all together to present that condition to allow the power to flow through oneself to the training opponent is the nature of the state. The origins have come through the lineage of Ip Man, but also been augmented and added to through teachings from the researchers of truth as well, and then been broken down into simple, easy to understand, consumable and teachable framework by Sifu John Kogan, which is what is being taught today through the One Tao Kung Fu Academy. I hope this has been interesting. I know it's gone for a long time, but get into it. The state rocks. Bye for now.